I'm here with John Costanzo, and we're going to make some homemade pasta.
This is a fresh egg pasta, and it's really ridiculously simple. There's only 2 ingredients, so it's flour and eggs.
But that means you have to have beautiful flour and beautiful eggs.
That's right, that's right. And that's why I use King Arthur flour. But also we use these eggs from our community-supported agriculture. That's the Sandbrook Meadow Farm in Stockton. And they're just gorgeous looking eggs. We love them all the time, very fresh.
Fresh eggs has also a very firm white, which makes a difference in making pasta, so that your whole liquid to dry ingredient proportion. So fresher eggs are better if you can get them. It's preferred.
We'll start by putting in some flour. Actually, it's 2 cups. And then just 3 eggs. Look at these.
So that's 2 cups of flour, 3 eggs.
Yeah.
I'm glad you used the blue egg.
So yeah, blue egg, a brown egg. You know, it doesn't really matter what's on the outside because they're gorgeous on the inside. You can do this by hand, but this is going to save you like 20 minutes. In a food processor, it's about 30 seconds, so let's go. That's about it. And give it just a quick knead to make it all come together. It's a bit like clay right now. We want to make a nice, smooth, silky, homogeneous mass. I think that's good.
Okay, I'm going to take that from you, John, and you have to wrap it right away. So I'm going to wrap this up with plastic wrap, and then, John, what happens next?
So, well, we need to wrap it up and then let it sit for about at least 30 minutes for it to dry out a little bit, enough to be able to roll. Fortunately, I made some earlier today, and I'll be using that to roll out.
So the rest period, what it does is it hydrates the flour. As you are kneading it, or as the food processor kneads it, all the gluten strands get into a knot. So as you let it rest, they relax again, and then you can get it through the rollers. If you tried to put it through now, it wouldn't go.
Right. This is an old-fashioned pasta maker. In fact, I got this from my parents about 35, maybe 40 years ago when I was still in high school. There is this adjustment on here that allows you to turn it and make gradually thinner and thinner rolls on it.
Right, there's 2 rollers in there that are like this. So when you start out, you're far apart, and as you gradually move the numbers, you're getting closer and closer together, which is going to make a thinner pasta and a longer pasta. As you get thinner, it gets longer.
Just dusted a little bit of flour on here, and we can put it in the top and stuff it.
I'm going to crank and catch.
Okay.
So that was number 1.
And
now we're moving it to the next number, and those rollers are getting closer. Okay.
I like to go to level 6.
So one thing to look for as you're doing this, I'm just going to go through. If you see that it begins to what they call ribbon, which means, I'm going to show you, it looks a little bit mottled, that means that it might be sticking to the roller. So you need to run your hands and a little bit of flour over, right on the dough, both sides. You can't hurt the dough, and that's important. If you see it kind of making this ribbony pattern, that means your dough's sticking to the rollers. So as you can see, as it gets thinner, it gets longer. Okay, so you can see my hands through the pasta dough, and that's pretty much as thin as you want to go for this application.
So now the next part, of course, is to cut up the pasta. You could use a knife. That's how they did it. My grandmother did it. But fortunately, this machine has some cutting blades in it.
Right, so I'm going to move the handle to this blade, which is the fettuccine cutting blade. Okay, and he's going to catch it. I'll hold this side and catch it coming out. And so when the pasta's this soft and fresh, you have to just make sure that it doesn't stick together. So John's going to spread it out over a drying rack, and that's a good way to keep it from sticking.
And you can make this by yourself, but it's so much easier if you have a partner.
Okay.
Oh, that's beautiful.
All right. It's important to separate the pasta because it will stick together in the pot if it's not separated here. So if you don't have one of these drying racks, you can put it on a flat cookie sheet or flat sheet pan and just make sure that you separate the strands.